Hey guys, what's going on? This is Chance Advanced, and today I'm making a tutorial video. I've had some people ask me how I make VRChat videos and what you need to set up to get VRChat videos working. So I'm going to go over how I do it in VR, and I'm also going to give you options for doing it in desktop mode. Hope you guys enjoy this tutorial, and thank you for watching. First things first, if you don't have any kind of zip extractor, go ahead and get yourself 7-zip here. Download the 64-bit version right here, the one that I'm clicking on. Just click that and a download will pop up, and go ahead and save that file. I've already got it installed, so I'm not going to go ahead and do that. You're going to want to come to this link, and this is OBS OpenVR-Input-Plugin. You only need this if you're going to capture in VR. This will capture your headset's view without any sort of distortion. Once you have 7-zip installed, go ahead and click on this link right here at the very bottom, and the page tells you, I'm going to link this page, where to take it. You're going to go to your, wherever you have OBS installed, it should be, if you set it in the default location, local disk C, program files x86, OBS Studio. You're going to take the data folder and the OBS plugins folder and drag and drop that in there. So in my instance, I had OBS installed under program files, not x86, just regular program files. So just make sure you find where OBS is. And go ahead and take these two folders, and you would drag and drop them into here. I'll drop them in there, but I'm not going to replace because I've already done it. Once that's in OBS, you'll be good to go. If you don't have OBS already installed, what you need to do is go to OBS Studio's website here and download the latest version for Windows, and that'll give you OBS Studio. Now, you could use other recording software. There's plenty of options out there. Some people like Streamlabs. Personally, I prefer traditional OBS Studio. That's my personal preference. And I'll go ahead and link all of these websites in the description, so you'll be able to see exactly what you need to do.
Alright guys, so when you first open OBS, you'll see the auto configuration wizard. I don't use it at all, I just close it right away. And we're going to set up our settings manually, so go ahead and do the same. Close that and open up settings. General tab, you don't really need to mess with anything here. You can leave it just as is. Same with stream tab. If we're just going to be setting up for recording, which is what we're doing in this video, go ahead and leave the stream tab as is as well. Output, I prefer to set my bitrate to 10K, which will make your file size a little high, so hopefully you have a decent sized hard drive. And I leave my encoder set to NVEC. If you don't have an NVEC encoder, which means you don't have like a newer NVIDIA GPU, go ahead and use Software X264. It will potentially, depending on what you're doing, cause your CPU to work a lot harder. So depending on what you're doing and what you're playing, you might run into encoding issues with that. So if you can, try and use NVEC. It'll make it simple for you, especially as a newbie. My recording path, I always set it to an external drive or a secondary drive. So for my computer, I have 3 SSDs. I'll go to SSD B and go to the recording folder and select that. Recording quality, if you have it set to 10K up here, you really shouldn't have to mess with this, but it's nice to set it if you want to. High quality medium file size will make it so the files aren't overly big and you still get decent quality. Indistinguishable quality large file size, the files will be bigger and it'll look nice. Lossless quality is going to be big files, really big files, but it'll look basically one-to-one with what you have in the game. The recording format here, I prefer to use MP4. MP4 will work with most video editors, including Premiere. Just right off the bat, you can just drag and drop the files in there and it'll work immediately. By default, OBS is set to NKV, and that will not work with Premiere right off the bat. You have to convert it, which kind of sucks. The problem with MP4 and OBS is if OBS crashes and closes, you will have an issue where the MP4 file will become corrupt. But I've never really had an issue with OBS crashing on me while I'm recording. Audio tab, I leave it exactly as is. And video tab, I usually set this to my preferred resolution for the output to 1920 by 1080. Your base should be your monitor resolution or your game resolution. So for like my VRChat.exe window, it's always set to 1080p. So I set that to 1080 as well. My downscale filter I always set to Lanzios. And my FPS always set to 60. Hotkeys are nice, and you can use them if you want to. I personally don't like to mess with them because I've had issues in the past where hotkeys will get hit by accident and it'll mess up a recording or a stream. So you could have start recording and stop recording, start streaming and stop streaming, mute. You could have scene switches here, transitions, etc. There's a lot of cool things you can do with your hotkeys. All you got to do is hit the key you want in the tab that you want. So if you want to start recording with page up, you can hit page up and it'll start recording once you apply that. I personally don't use them though. Like I said, I'd rather just do it manually, because that way I know once I click something, as long as I don't tab back into OBS and accidentally click it again, it won't mess anything up. For your advanced tab, you really will not have to mess with any of this. You can leave it just set as is. Process priority set to high. Make sure it should be set that already, but make sure that is set to high. Go to the properties folder of OBS and set it to run as admin. It'll make it so it'll run smoother just in case. And then once you have all your settings set up, just go ahead and hit apply and hit OK. I already have settings set up for my profile for streaming and recording, so I'm not going to apply or hit OK right now. I'm just going to hit close. But you guys definitely need to hit apply and OK right here. Once you have your settings all saved, you're going to be seeing this blank screen. You're not going to have any scenes other than the default scene. You're not going to have any sources, nor do you have anything in Audio Mixer. What I do first things first is rename my first scene to whatever game or whatever I'm primarily going to be recording. So we're going to go ahead and set it up for VRChat desktop. So now with the VRChat desktop scene added, we're going to go ahead and add a source. We're going to go to game capture and make sure VRChat is running and name this VRChat. Hit create new, capture specific window, and choose VRChat.exe, and then hit OK. And now, if VRChat is running, you'll be able to see what you see in VRChat in your preview window in OBS. Just go ahead and add your audio sources next. So what we're going to add is our audio input. And just name this to whatever your microphone name is. So I have a Blue Snowball, so I'm going to name it to Blue Snowball. And just make sure you select the right device in the drop down list here. So microphone Blue Snowball. And then audio output. So speakers is what I'll name that, I guess. And then I'll just pick my speakers Realtek audio. That's my desktop audio. Make sure the Blue Snowball or whatever microphone you use is a little bit stronger than the desktop audio. So when I talk into my microphone, you want to make sure, look at how it's peaking right here on the audio mixer, and then look at how the desktop audio is peaking. You want to make sure that the desktop audio is a little bit weaker. So right now I'm like going into the -20s up into the 15 range as my highest. I would drag the speaker thing down so once audio is playing, it'll be lower than my actual microphone. So for VRChat desktop, that's all you need. You need your audio output, your audio input, and the VRChat exe source. Those three sources, that's all you need. Alright, so now that we're back on our desktop and we are in OBS with VRChat running, go ahead and open a new scene. We're going to name this scene VRChat HMD. So VRChat head mounted display. And then you're going to go ahead and add OpenVR capture. Name that after your headset. So my headset is Samsung Odyssey HMD. You can name it whatever you want, but I always name it after the headset. And then go ahead and choose a crop preset. So if you have a Vive, use Vive. Index, use Index. If you have a Vive Pro, use Vive Pro. If you have one of the other mini headsets out there, you could try these three, and if it looks good, then go ahead and use one of those. Like I have a Samsung Odyssey, and Vive Pro looks perfect because we share the same resolution and same like lens profile pretty much. So I go ahead and use this one. If none of these are working perfectly, you can mess with these sliders here and find the perfect crop for your headset no matter what kind of headset you're using. Once you have that set up, go ahead and hit OK. And then all you're going to have to do is fit this to the window. I always line it up from the bottom, so that way if you're talking to somebody who's like in a short avatar, it'll show them perfectly. If you line it up from the top or in the middle, it might cut off some people's avatars a little bit if they're down kind of low. Then go ahead and add your audio sources for VR. So I go ahead and name this HMD mic. And then I pick my headset to microphone. So for my headset, it's this one right here, microphone array. And then I add my audio output for my headset, HMD output. And then I'll go ahead and make that set to my output for my headset, which is headphones Realtek 2.0 audio. I always use OpenVR. If I'm capturing any VR game directly, I always use this OpenVR setting. And this VRChat HMD, you could technically just name that like VR headset. And if you're playing Pavlov or any of the VR games out there, this will capture the audio from the game, your microphone, and what your headset's seeing directly. So it would work for any games. Once you have this set up, you can go from desktop to HMD. If you're going to use the VRChat camera with VR, make sure not to set it to your desktop microphone and speakers. Set it to your VR headset's microphone and speakers so you can still talk, because the VRChat desktop scene that I made is for somebody who's only playing in desktop, where all they have is a desktop microphone and desktop audio. If you're going to use the VRChat camera to record a still image, basically like a set frame perspective, then you're going to need to be able to use your HMD's audio. What you can do though, if you want to be able to go back and forth, is just go ahead and add the game capture. Click add existing, add VRChat. Slide it down till it's right above the Samsung Odyssey, and then, or whatever your headset's called, once you have the camera open, you can now see the camera perspective in OBS. So like right now, I can see the camera perspective in OBS in the sources menu. What I would do if I want to switch back to OpenVR is just click this little eyeball right here, and now I'm in OVR. And I click back and I'm in the camera. So you can just hide the VRChat game capture right there in VRChat HMD scene. If you just want to have one scene set up, if you're primarily playing in VR, you're always going to have your headset on, but you want to be able to capture with the camera too from the same scene, that's what you would do. Hopefully that wasn't too confusing for you guys. I hope that was helpful. Those are two basic scenes that I use in VRChat. I also use a scene where I have my avatar set up, but I'll make a separate video on that if you guys are interested, where you can see the avatar in the top right corner like you see in some of my videos. That also uses the VRChat camera, so I'll teach you guys how to do that if you want to. Hope you guys enjoyed this though, and really get out there and make some videos because it's a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, you guys. Take care.